A look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.
Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaste, Namaskar, good evening and welcome to a look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss on Radio Udaan, a flight of life. Dear all, while the cool, unsullied song kissing your eardrums via auto DJ, here comes Balanagendran to interfere, to take you all to your weekly excavation for your eternal bliss in your treasure hunt show, A Look into a Book, live from Chennai on Radio Udaan, a flight of life. I have come here again with all your support, constant motivation, ideas, suggestions, and your appeal. Your appeal is my consideration. Your comments are my success. Type in your address bar www.radioudaan.com, radioudaan.com, where you can find a link asking to submit your feedback. Feedback me by selecting the show. How do you feel? Excellent, very good, good, okay, poor are the choices you have. As I said earlier, your choice is my success. And you can also add us in your Facebook account. It's very simple, where we are pulsing each and every second on Facebook. The ID is facebook.com/Radio Udaan, RADIO space UDAAN. Besides all these, we have a path for all of you to reach us instantly. When we are on air, you can reach us via text, chat us, but before that, add us into your Skype. ID is Radio Udaan, RADIOUDAAN. You might have seen my Facebook message before the commencement of 9 o'clock's excavation on this tantalizing Tuesday. We are going to continue our serial treasure hunt, the hunt that will turn our life by filling the gap that we have between the numbers. Before delving into my proceedings, on behalf of A Look into a Book, Balanagendran pays the respect to the brave, patriotic souls who lost their lives today at the hands of the terror establishments at the line of control. Indian Army has launched its largest manhunt operation after that brutal attack that killed 3 of our army men, one of whom happened to be the 22-year-old tender young Jawan who joined the army with a great purpose that is none other than to serve the nation and to lay himself to the nation. It's an adverse end an abrupt end. As a matter of fact, a horrendous end to that patriotic soul. I, Bala Nagendran, pay my respect on behalf of all of you to those brave, innocent, patriotic, courageous souls who stood before our enemies and laid themselves down. Thanks for everything that you people do for us. Thanks for making us to live with peace here by sacrificing your peace and your lives entertainment. Salute to our Jawans who are still acting with resilience again the so-called Pakistani terror establishments. Well, now it's time for us to plunge into the business of a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss on Radio Udaan, a flight of life. Today we have come with a serial hunt, as I've said earlier. In this treasure hunt show, we are going to witness episode 4. Now you have got your point. Today we are going to have more adventures than ever before. The adventurous journey that we have had in this past 3 weeks with the boon given by the great mathematician, Indian-born Venkatrama Shastri, with a compilation of Vedic techniques. Today, we are going to have him with us, but today we are going to be concrete, consistent, and right on the button. As I said earlier, don't forget to listen to the fullest. If you didn't listen or missed to listen to the previous episodes, no worries. Just go to our website radioudaan.com, where you can request archive by filling the date, month, year and the show. You will be receive a file where you can listen again and merge yourself to the fullest with the greatest gift that our Indian-born mathematician has given us. Today, it's going to be peculiar as we are going to begin with totally new concepts. However, it would be an incomplete project if we don't scrutinize or summarize what we have done in the past. Look at your past, work it in your present, and don't look at the result in your future. This is what the mantra that I have been taught by my mentors, which I am going to put in front of you with the help of this Vedic man's technique. Let's summarize before we plunge into the latest adventurous journey of the treasure hunt in our treasure hunt show, a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो उड़ान, फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ।
A look into a book with Bala Nagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.
Last week, we have witnessed the tricks or the techniques or the methods to find the cube roots, and we also learned how to find the cube of a given value. Here, it is necessary to summarize the difficult areas that we believe that we need to look at frequent times. I hereby remind you all, if you haven't done in the past, though it's too late, don't feel bothered. Don't worry, it's better late than never. So, just pick up your boots and sit to work. Mathematics is a common subject matter, a common ice cream that anybody can eat. For that matter, you have to put a strenuous effort of opening your mouth. For that, you need to work. Consistent work with persistent dedication equals excellence in maths. After all, maths is nothing but the journey that we have between the numbers 0 to 9. Imagine, every number is included in 0 to 9. What would be the answer if you multiply the numbers in your telephone number? Find out and let me know. I repeat, what is the value or the multiplication value of the numbers in your phone's numpad or numboard? I'm asking the numbers in your numpad, not your number. Mind it. Well, let's look into the cube roots. As we have seen, that's a simple guess that we can find the answer. Hence, let's move straight away to how to find cubes of a number. As we have seen last week, 105 cube. What we have said, have the base, find the difference. Here it is, base is 100, difference is 5. I remind you all here once again, you have to focus yourself to find the base. That has to be the multiples or the powers of 10. I repeat, multiples or the powers of 10. 10, 10, 100. 100 into 10, what? 10 into 10, what? It has to be like that in order to make things smooth flowing and easy going. Okay, the base value is 100, the difference is 5. The next step, multiply the difference by 2. 5 into 10. Add that with the given number. Given number is what? 105. Given number is not 100. Given number is the number that you see in the question. That is 105. 105 plus 10 is 115. Keep it. This is the left side of your answer. That's not going to change at all. Then, now find out the difference and multiply with 5. First, remind you and keep this in mind. First, you have to find the difference and you have to multiply with 2. Then add with the given number. Then find the difference and multiply the new difference with the old difference. It may seem odd, it may seem difficult, it may seem impossible and laborious, but write my words in your mind. This is the easiest method that we have rather than the difficult, tottering, westernized mathematical techniques. If you practice, the system will be handy in seconds. Okay, the difference is 15. 15 into 5 is 75. keep this next to 115. Now we have 115, 75. The final step is remaining. What is the unit digit of the number? 5. Cube it. That is, multiply the same number thrice. 5 into 5 into 5, that is none other than 125. Keep it at the right side of 75. Now we have 115, 75 and 125. We have 8 digits, but we must know the zeros that we have in the base value should be the right side of your answer. This is the way you can find how many digits should be in your answer. I repeat, the base that you work with and the zeros that you have in the base should be the numbers that you must have at the right side of your answer. Here we have 125 at the right side. Our base value is 100. How many zeros are there in 100? Undoubtedly 2. So we need to have 2 numbers at the right side rather than 3. What can we do? Very simple. Add that 1 to the left side 5 and make it 6. That's it. 115, 76, 25. 1157625 is the cube value of 105. Verify me. The same thing that I said last year, we have just summarized it. It will help us to go to find square roots today, and also it will help us to work with the speed and time related problems. Today we are going to witness one of the complicated methods that we have been taught to solve the time and speed problem, but I'm sure after 10 o'clock today you're going to feel it funny and you all are going to become play people. Before that, I hope we all know how to find the average value. As we have seen last week, if there is one number is decreased from the quantity, how to find the average. If you have missed, kindly request the archive and listen. But don't forget to listen now. We are going to go with 2 elements. What the author says is nothing but, in Western terms, in English, product consistency method, PCM. The method that we call is product consistency, where we are going to deal this with ease. First thing, you need not multiply the given numbers, whereas you have to multiply the difference. Have to keep this in mind. Yeah, you need not multiply the given numbers, whereas to multiply the difference. Let's see 2 numbers. If 2 values of the quantity that has been given in the question are removed, how to find the value or the average. The average will be given, the value have to be found. The question will be vice versa. Let's see. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere on Radio Udaan, a flight of life. This is your look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss with Balanagendran.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो उड़ान, द फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ, वर्ल्ड्स नंबर 1 इंटरनेट रेडियो स्टेशन ऑफ इट्स ओन काइंड. सुनते रहिए और एंजॉय कीजिए रेडियो उड़ान.
रेडियो उड़ान की नई पेशकश, एक मुलाकात। जी हाँ दोस्तों, तो रहिएगा ना बेखबर, क्योंकि इस प्रोग्राम में मैं अमित भट्ट रहूंगा आपका होस्ट, रहूंगा आपका हमसफर, और हमसे रूबरू होगी एक नई पर्सनैलिटी, एक नई शख्सियत हमारे हर एक प्रोग्राम में। हर शुक्रवार रात 9 से 10 एक मुलाकात, सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपके अपने रेडियो उड़ान पर।
A look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.
Welcome back, friends. As the message is flowing heavy to start the problems, here comes the problem. The average score of a batsman in 10 innings is 82. If his highest score and the lowest score are removed, the average reduced to 80. What is the new score, or the difference of the scores from the highest and the lowest, if the difference is 172? First, let's do this by basing 50, so that 50, 100, the base values, it will be very easy for us to do. Then you can work it with 80 to 80, 90 to 90, and more than that, or less than that. Okay, let's consider. The score of a batsman in 10 innings is 50, the average. Keep in mind, the 50 in 10 innings is equal to none other than the average score. When we remove his highest and lowest score, the average has been reduced to 48. Remember, not reduced by 48, it's reduced to 48. If the difference between the highest and the lowest score is 172, and what is his lowest and highest scores? We are going to find it today, now, here on Radio Udaan, by using Vedic maths technique. Let's see. The first 10 innings have the average of 50. If we remove 2 innings, it goes up to 48. What we have to do, first keep the 50 with 2, because when they are in the team, or when the scores are in the team, the average was 50. So 2 into 50 is 100. And when they are going, when the two highest and the low scores are going, they are taking this 2 scores from each other, that is from each other. So 8 into 2, 16, 116 that we have. The difference between the 2 scores is 172. What we have here now is 116. Pretty simple. We have the point. Game closed. 160 plus 174 Why I am saying 174? The difference is 172. So it shouldn't be exactly 172. It should be 116 plus 174. It's none other than 290. The total score, or the difference between the two scores, the highest and the lowest, is 290 and 116. Because the difference is 172, keep this in mind. So it shouldn't be exactly, we need to add 172. Let's see another one, then we will clear conceptually. The average mark of a student in 10 subjects is 80. When his two subjects, the highest and the lowest, are removed, his average has been increased to 81. Remember, increased to 81, not increased by 81. If the highest mark of a subject is 92, what is the lowest mark? You got the answer in the question itself. I repeat, the average mark of a student in 10 subjects is 80. When his highest and the lowest scored subjects are removed, the average has been increased to 81. If the highest mark is 92, what is his lowest score? Very simple, as I have said. When 10 people were there, or the 10 papers were there, the average is 80. When 2 papers are removed, the 80 turned into 81. So what we have to do first, multiply the 80 with 2, because you are removing the 2 when their average happened to be 80. You need to keep it in mind. When you are removing something or adding something, you have to add the real average value that was prior to the preceding. Hence, 2 into 80 is 160. Here we go. It's a small, simple way, one step ahead to finish the answer. When they have removed, what was the reaction? The average has been increased from 80 to 81. It's none other than increase by 1%. For how many subjects? 8. Because we know the question says the 10 subjects average mark is 80. When 2 subjects are removed, highest and the lowest, the average was gone up to 81. So difference when the 8 subjects are there is 1%. So multiply 1 with 8 and deduct or reduce or subtract that 8 from 160. It's 152. You already have the highest mark, that is 92. Reduce it from 152. 60 is the answer that you have. Work it out in your traditional orthodox method and tell me if 60 is not the right answer. Let's work another. There are 35 people in the class, including the teacher. Their average weight is 62 kgs. There are 35 people in the class, including the teacher, and their average weight is 62. When the weight of the teacher and the class secretary is known, the average weight of the rest in the class has gone down to 61.5. If The weight of the secretary of the class is 60. Find out the weight of the teacher. I repeat, don't forget friends, these are the questions asked in the competitive exams and we are solving by using the great Venkatram Shastri's Vedic maths techniques, product consistency. There are 35 people in the class and their average weight is 62. The weight of the class teacher and the class secretary is removed. The weight or the average weight of the rest of the class has gone down to 61.5. If the weight of the secretary of the class is 60, find the weight of the teacher. Find and Skype me. The Skype ID is Radio Udaan. Skype is open now. I'm looking forward to your answer and I'm going to solve in a few minutes. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. This is a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss.
You are listening to Radio Udaan, Radio Udaan, Radio Udaan, a flight of light. For more information, log on to www.radioudaan.com. Happy listening.
इफ यू आर अ स्पोर्ट्स लवर, अगर आपको खेलों और खिलाड़ियों का जुनून है तो रेडियो उड़ान लाया है आपके लिए द मोस्ट कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्पोर्ट्स शो ऑन रेडियो, स्पोर्ट्स गैलेक्सी विद स्वाति सक्सेना. Tune on to Radio Udaan every Tuesday 10 to 11 p.m. and know all about sports and its events, the famous personalities and much more. अपने पसंदीदा खेल और खिलाड़ियों के बारे में जानिए और गॉसिप का मजा भी उठाइए. Only on Radio Udaan, Sports Galaxy with Swati Saxena. 10 to 11 p.m. and rebroadcasted on Wednesday 5 to 6 p.m.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो उड़ान, लाइफ ऑफ लाइफ.
A look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.
Welcome back friends, I hope you have found the answer or you might have been digging deep down into the process of finding the answer. But let me make you clear once again so that you won't take this amount of time in your competitive exams. I'm sure that these sort of questions will be there in the competitive exams. So listen carefully and text me if you feel that I'm wrong. Yeah, here we go. What the question says, there are 35 people in the class. Okay, fine. Their average weight is 62. Wonderful. If the weight of the class teacher and the class secretary is removed, the average weight of the rest of the class has gone down to 61.5. What they are saying, when those two people were there, the average weight was 62. When they have gone, they haven't gone with empty hand. They have taken their 62 kgs and 0.5 kgs from the rest. That is nothing but 35 minus 2 is from 33 people of the class. Here's the problem solved. Game finish. Multiply 62 with 2. Because as I said, when they are going, they haven't gone with empty hand, but they have gone with their own 62 kgs and 0.5 kgs from the 33 people. So you have to multiply both values and you have to find the answer, the difference. As we already know, the weight of the class secretary is 60. Okay. 2 into 62, 124. Now the process. 33 into 0.5. If you are good in multiplication, you can do it with ease. That's nothing but 33 into 1 by 2. As 0.5 or 50% are same. Hence, 0.5 or 50% can be called as 1 by 2 of 100%. This may seem a little bit laborious, but if you practice, this is the handy step that we are doing. As we have already multiplied 2 into 62, 124, then 33 into 0.5. As we have said, 33 into 133 by 2 is nothing but 16.5. Add both the values. 124 plus 16.5 is nothing but 140.5. 140.5, and we already have the weight of the class secretary is nothing but 60. Reduce it, deduct it, minus it, or subtract it. The answer you got is the weight of the class teacher. 140.5 minus 60 equals 80.5. 140.5 minus 60 equals 80.5 is the weight of the class teacher. Here what the author says and what we do in the Western method. We will multiply 35 with 62. Then we will multiply 33 with 61.5. We will subtract both the multiplied value. That will be gigantic, like a spectrum scan. Then what we will do? We will find 60 is there. Then we will reduce it from the value that we have got out of this spectrum scan, the gargantuan multiplication. But both their answers are 80.5. You work it out now itself and let me know if there is a different answer. Let's move to find square root of a perfect square. As we have seen last week, how to find the cube root of a perfect cube. Now we are going to see the square root of a perfect square.
कभी महक की तरह हम गुलों से उड़ते हैं, कभी धुएं की तरह पर्वतों से उड़ते हैं। ये कैचियां हमें उड़ने से खाक रोकेंगी कि हम परों से नहीं हौसलों से उड़ते हैं। जी हां दोस्तों, आप भी जुड़ जाइए हमारे साथ, अपने ख्वाबों की उड़ान लिए, अपनी कल्पनाओं की उड़ान लिए, अपनी ख्वाहिशात की उड़ान लिए। लॉग ऑन कीजिए www.radioudan.com और चलिए हमारे साथ एक कभी न खत्म होने वाले सफर पर, जिसका नाम है रेडियो उड़ान।
सागर किनारे मैं हूँ क्या।
समझे जी, अब गा से बोलिए। अरे गैस गजब का रिजल्ट आ गया। अब हम कैसे कट करते हैं और पी से पॉइंट लेते हैं रेडियो उड़ान अंताक्षरी में।
ब्रेक लेना है तो आप भी थोड़ा अंताक्षरी खेलिए ना जी।
अजी ब्रेक क्यों लेना है, पार्टिसिपेंट आने दो और हमारे साथ मौज मनाने दो। रेडियो उड़ान पर हर सैटरडे 9 से 10 रेडियो उड़ान अंताक्षरी डिफरेंट आरजे के साथ।
A look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.
Yes, friends. Now we are going to find the square roots of a perfect square. Don't worry about the irrational numbers. After knowing this Vedic maths trick, you won't be worrying about those unwarranted stuffs. As soon as you look into the options, as most of the competitive exams in our country happen to be objectives or MCQs, you need not work it out to find whether is it perfect or imperfect. As you all know how to find the square of a number as we have did in the past. If not, kindly request the archive and listen. Here we go. First, let's take a table before. We have memorized the table in the last week concept of finding cube roots. The same way, we have to memorize or remember the concept to find square roots. 1 square is 1. You have to memorize the square till at least 10. Don't forget, earlier I have said 25 is to find the square values. If you want to find square roots, just remember till 10. That's enough. Moreover, remember till 25. After all, this is a new learning process. Well, let's proceed. If the unit digit of the given perfect square is 1, then the unit digit of the square root will either be 1 or 9. You imagine 1 square 1. 9 square is 81. This is what the answer. 1 square is 1. 9 square is 81. Unit digit is what? 1. So if the unit digit of the perfect square is 1 and the unit digit of the square root can either be 1 or 9. How to find is it 1 or 9? We are going to deal today, don't worry about that. If the square root, perfect square is 2, it's not going to be anything. You forget about it. I repeat, if the perfect square and its unit digit is 2, it's not a perfect square. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's not at all a perfect square. Hence, if anyone asks you to find the square root of the number that has a unit digit 2, you can rightly find it out that this is an imperfect number and its integer is irrational. Okay, let's move. 3. When the numbers will end in 3? Nowhere. This is what the answer we have got. when the numbers will end in 3 when we square something. That's it. If we have the unit digit 2 and 3, that number is an imperfect irrational number, imperfect square. Okay, 4. Now we have the objective of memory. We need to remember this. If the unit digit of the square, perfect square, is 4, then its square root and its unit digit can either be 8 or 2. We know 2 squared is 4, 8 squared is 64. That's it. The unit digit is 4, then the square root's unit digit must be either 2 or 8. 5, similar, 5. Whatever happens, square, cube, power 4, power 5, whatever it is, 5 power anything will end up with a unit digit 5. 6. If we have 6, then we have to look into. If the unit digit of a number is 6 of a perfect square, its square root will also have 6. Don't get confused. If the unit digit of a perfect square is 4, the unit digit of the square root will either be 2 or 8. This is what we have to keep in mind. If the unit digit of the perfect square is 6, its square root's unit digit may either be 4 or 6. 4 squared 16, 3 squared 36. This is what the unit digit is 6. Hence, if the unit digit is 6 of a perfect square, the value of the square root's unit digit can either be 4 or 6. Okay, 7. Is there anything? No. If I am wrong, you tell me. There is nothing. If the unit digit of a perfect square is 7, that's an imperfect square. What will happen if the unit digit happen to be 8? That is also an imperfect square. 2 and 3 are imperfect. 7 and 8 are imperfect. Remember, this is for square, not for cube. We may go slow today as the process seems, and it requires focus and concentration. 7 and 8 are imperfect. Let's go to 9, our last friend. If the unit digit of a perfect square is 9, then the unit digit of the square root should either be 3 or 7. Don't confuse yourself. When the unit digit of a perfect square is 2 or 3 or 7 or 8, they are known as imperfect squares. You have no direct square roots. On the other hand, if the perfect square has a unit digit of 4, then you will have the square root unit digit in either 8 or 2. If it's 6, you will have the square root's unit digit in either 6 or 4. If it's 9, you will have the square root unit digit in either 3 or 7. 3 squares are 9, 7 squares are 49. Got it? This is the table you have to memorize. If you couldn't memorize, don't worry, request the archive and listen it. You can memorize it. Let's plunge into the problem. Whatever the number, you have to segregate it into 2 parts. Let's do with 1681. 1681, you can separate as 16 and 81. What is the unit digit? 1. What we have memorized? If the unit digit of this given number ends in 1, then the square root of that number should end either in 1 or 9. Let's see. As of now, let's keep in mind it should be in 1 or 9. All the other numbers should be eliminated. Let's go to 16. Find out the value that is less or equal to 16 when it got squared. I repeat, find out the value of the number that is less or equal to 16 when it is multiplied twice, that is squared. If you remember, 4 squares are 16. It's exactly 4. Then the tens digit or the next digit that's going to be with the answer, that's going to be either 1 or 9, is 4. Put it at the left side of your mind. Now what we have to do, the major process. Whenever you found the left side of your answer, multiply that number with the next largest number. What is the next largest number to 4? That's 5. Multiply 4 into 5, that's 20. 20 is greater or lesser than 16? It's greater than 16. Or you have to look in another way. 16 is lesser than 20. Hence, in 1 and 9, which is less? 1. You put it at the right side, 41. I remind you, my friends, this may seem tedious, boring, laborious. It may cause you time consumption and more wastage of your brain. But don't forget that if you practice, this is the easiest method that you will never get on earth. Let's try another number. 529. Segregate. The left side should be 5 and the right side should be 29. Don't forget, whenever you segregate, the right side should have 2 digits or more than the left side. Either it should be equal to the left side or more than the left side. It should not be lesser than the left side. Keep this in mind. 529, 5 and 29. What is the unit digit? 9. What we have memorized in the table. If the perfect square has the unit digit 9, then its square root should either end in 3 or 7. Okay, let's keep in mind 3 or 7. Find out the value which is lesser or equal to 5 when squared. 2 2s are 4. That is the only thing that we have here. So the first left side answer of your square root should be 2. There is no question about it. Remind it before or keep this in mind. You have to find the number which should have less or equal to the value of the left side that is given in your question. Here we have 5. The number that is less or equal to the value when it is squared is 2. 2 squares are 4. That is less than 5. It doesn't matter. But what matters is the left side of the answer is going to be 2. Then, to find the right side, we have to multiply the 2 with the next largest number, that is none other than 3. 2 into 3 is 6. Then compare the 6 and 5. 5 is lesser than 6. So, in 3 and 7, lesser than number is what? 3. Write it beside 2, 23. 23 square is 529. This is what the author explains. I quote, segregate the given values, focus the unit digit, and come to a concrete elimination of the numbers that are not needed. Find the number that has a square value which is less or equal to the left side value after the number is segregated. Multiply that number with its next largest number and compare the left side segregated value and the multiplied received value. If it is less, choose the lesser number in the table. If it is greater, choose the greater number in the table. Let's go. 2401, 2401. Let's find the square root. Segregate the number 24 and 01. What is the unit digit? 1. Then let's eliminate the other numbers. What we know, if the unit digit is in 1, then the answer should either end up in 1 or 9. Okay, as of now, let's keep 1 or 9. Let's go to 24. Where the square ends, find the number that is, when squared, will have the value which is less or equal to 24. 5 squares are 25. We should not go there. 4 squares are 16. So the left side answer will surely be with 4. Put it at the left side of your mind. Then multiply 4 with the next largest number. 4 into 5, 20. Now compare with 24. Don't forget, you have to multiply the number with the next largest number and you have to compare the values. Now what we have? 24 and 20. 24 is greater than 20. Hence, in 1 and 9, the greater value is 9. 49 square is 2401. If you have calculator, find and verify and tell me if I am wrong. Final number before we leave. 6084. Segregate 60 and 84. What is the unit digit 4? We know from the table, if the unit digit ends up in 4, then the square root will have its unit digit that will be either 2 or 8. As of now, you keep in mind 2 and 8. 2 is lesser than 8, 8 is greater than 2. That you all know. Then let's go to 60. Find the number when it's squared will have the value which is less or equal to 60. That is nothing but 7. You can, if you feel to find the lesser value or the number that will have the lesser value when it's squared, you just focus. 60 stands between the squares of what? 7 and 8. That will be confusing. That's why we have avoided that step that has also been prescribed by our author. Okay, 7. 7 squares of 49. That doesn't matter. We have found now 7. Multiply 7 with the next largest number, that is 8. 7 into 8, 56. What we have in the question? 60. 60 is greater than 56. Now, what we have in the table? 2 or 8? 8. Then, the answer should be 78. 78 square is 6084. Find out and let me know. Well friends, I hope I have given some insights of the source that has been given to us by the great Indian mathematical legend Venkatrama Shastri from his compilation of Vedic maths techniques that he has excavated from Vedas. Let me meet you all next week with another book, or if possible with the Vedic maths techniques to solve syllogism. We have been working through it, solving syllogism. We hope we will find the solution, easy way to solve it. And if we found, we will surely come next week sharp 9 to 10 on Tantalizing Tuesday in a show a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss. Don't forget to feedback me, radioudaan.com, RADIOUDAN.com, radioudaan.com. Excellent, very good, okay, poor are the choices, your choice is my success, as I said. Don't forget to feedback me, stay tuned to Radio Udaan and listen to Swati Saxena's Sports Galaxy. What she has for us today in the Sports Galaxy. Let's wait and watch, wait and listen. I'll meet you all next week. Till then, take care of yourself, if possible, take care of others. Stay tuned to Radio Udaan, a flight of life. Good night, buenas noches, vanakkam.
A look into a book with Balanagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.